Hey there, it's Shauna. Today I'm going to be making cheese stuffed dinner rolls, and this is a recipe that I got from, you know what, I'm probably going to butcher her name, so I'm just going to leave her name in the captions, and I'll put a link to the recipe down in the description box and in the pinned comments.
I'm filming, making myself make the cheesy rolls.
I actually was going to cut that part out of the video, but I figured it would be cute to leave it in. So now that the yeast mixture is nice and foamy, I'm going to put it aside and get the main part of my dough ready before I add in the yeast. I'm going to add in some granulated sugar and some sea salt. You have to make sure that when you're making any sort of bread to use fine salt. That way it dissolves much better and evenly into your dough. And now I'm going to add in 3 organic large eggs. The recipe calls for kefir, however you say it, but I don't have that on hand, so I just used a cup of milk for this. And now I've added in 4 cups of all-purpose flour, and I'm adding in 1 more cup, so we'll make it 5 cups all-purpose flour. At the time I recorded this video, I only had this spatula. I didn't have my whisks yet, but I am going to whisk in, so to speak, the active yeast that is nice and bubbly. And I'm going to just slowly do that. I'm going to keep stirring until the dough forms and it becomes nice and sticky but still pliable. At this point, since I don't have the dough in a stand mixer, I figured a little bit of mixing with the spatula is fine, but I'm going to mix the rest with my hands. I do this for about 15 minutes until I get that nice, sticky yet pliable dough. At this point, it has been a little over 15 minutes, almost 20 minutes, so I don't want to overwork the dough. I'm going to go ahead and call this good and let the dough rest. And cover it up while it rests. Now that the dough has rested for 20 minutes, I am going to lightly flour my work surface and knead out my dough. As I'm doing that, I'm also going to work in some soft grass-fed butter. I'm sure there's probably a more efficient way of doing this, but I am a total beginner and this is my first time making these rolls, so this is the best that I could do right now. I think I'm actually going to take my rolling pin. This might make it a little easier. I got this rolling pin from the 1950s at the thrift store, and it was one of my best thrift finds ever, especially for only $4. It's super easy to just wipe clean, it rolls very well, very ergonomic, and it is a really nice, heavy wood, genuine wood, so it just looks classic on my kitchen countertop. I love it. I'm thinking about doing a video on my favorite items from the thrift store that I've collected over the years. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see something like that. Now that I've got a good amount of butter worked into the dough, I am going to dust my work surface again and finish kneading this dough. and I just keep repeating this process of dusting my work surface, kneading the dough until all the sticky oiliness of the butter goes away and I get a nice clean ball dough. Oop, dough ball. Now I'm just sort of mashing the dough with my fist just to make sure all of the dough and the butter just melts in there together nicely. Final portion of butter just to make sure that the dough stays moist. And a final folding and kneading of the dough. All of this kneading, rolling, and folding probably took me about 30 minutes. And I know it seems like a whole lot of work, but trust me, the payoff is deliciously worth it. It's about 4 o'clock now, and Grace just woke up from her final nap of the day.
Yeah, you're a little groggy, grumpy. You look well rested.
Did you have a good nap, sweetie?
Now the recipe says to cover the dough ball with saran wrap, but since I don't have anything like that, I'm just using tin foil. And this is going to go in the fridge for at least 4 hours, but best overnight. And this is what it looks like when it comes out. Inflated dough. And now I'm going to divide the dough into 7 to 8 pieces. Dusting the workstation again. Now I'm just going to take each piece of the dough that I cut and roll it out. The shape of the dough as I roll it out doesn't concern me. I mostly want just a 1/4 inch thick piece, and I want it wide enough in diameter to be able to put some cheese in the middle and wrap it around. The cheese that I'm using here is mozzarella. I wish I could say that I made this cheese myself, but I don't have a cheese grater yet, so I am using store-bought, yet organic mozzarella cheese. As you can see here, I'm trying my best to pinch the dough together so that I can essentially seal the mozzarella cheese inside of the dough, and it worked out, but I did struggle a little bit. Now I'm just placing this one roll that I've made already to the side, and I'm going to continue making more. I didn't have room in my pan for all of the rolls that I wanted to make, so I just went ahead and made 5, and I refrigerated the rest to bake for later. I have some butternut squash here that's roasting with garlic and olive oil. This is going to be a pureed soup that's going to go with the dinner rolls. Rolls going into the oven, and they will bake for 25 minutes. Just before the rolls come out of the oven, I am preparing an egg wash, and also right here I am preparing some melted butter with garlic, rosemary, and other seasonings to spread over the rolls. The rolls are nice and cooked. Now I have to put the egg wash on top, and it goes back in the oven for another 10 minutes. And this is what it looks like when it comes out. I just love the color that the egg wash gives the bread. Final step, brushing on the melted butter, garlic, and herbs onto the bread. And let me show you what the final product looks like.
Get me a paper towel. Yeah. I'm just going to place it on there. Okay, let's see what it looks like when you cut into it. cheese.
The bread was so steaming hot that it was really hard to touch to show you, but I did my best. While we were waiting for the bread to cool off a bit, we were playing.